Hey, um, so you're seeing my screen. You have this paper. We picked it up. I had set it out by accident last Monday, not realizing that I needed to get on top of the Google Doodle um, thing. So let me see if I can get this out of the way. I actually don't want that up there. Close this out. Okay. Um, which, by the way, I sent off the Google Doodles. But you picked this up last week. It's titled Pointillism. There are a couple of extra copies if you were absent last Monday that the sub will have up front. Let me talk a little bit about pointillism. And I'm doing this after we've talked about color because it goes with color. It is the art of using tiny points of color to create an image. So on the general overview, it says pointillism is often considered part of the post-impressionistic movement, but you don't have to worry about that. It was primarily invented by painters Georges Seurat and Paul Signac. While impressionists used small dabs of paint as part of their technique, pointillism took this to the next level by using only small dots of pure color to compose an entire painting. So instead of like mixing paint together and having these small dabs, which if you take art later on, you'll talk about the Impressionists. Pointillism is literally just dots of pure color. And from far away, see, like right here, this would be close up. Well, close up, we can see all of those small dots of color. But far away, that's what it looks like. See, in this one, you don't see all of the little tiny dots. Now, if I zoomed in, you could. But the point of pointillism, that's so funny. The point of pointillism wasn't necessarily to see the dots. It was just that idea of using that technique to create a painting. So pointillism reached its peak in the 1880s and 1890s, obviously after the Impressionist movement, since it was influenced by the Impressionist movement. Some ideas are still used today. So unlike some art movements, pointillism has nothing to do with the subject matter of the painting. Okay, it doesn't matter what the subject is in a pointillism painting. It makes no difference what or who, if it's like a landscape or if it's a person or if it's a bowl of fruit. It does not matter what the subject matter is. Pointillism is a technique. Okay, so the whole thing with pointillism is how you do it, not what you're doing, but how you're applying the paint to the canvas. Okay, in pointillism, the painting is made up entirely of small dots of pure color. See the example below. Okay, so if I zoom in, and I know yours is in black and white, so I'm going to try to zoom in so I can get this as big as possible in order for you to see all of those dots of pure color. So we have yellows and we have blacks and we have reds and blues and greens. And so it doesn't matter that this is a man's face. You know, what matters is how the artist created it. So the fact that just by using dots of color, he created a mustache. He created, and this is Georges Seurat, that's why I keep saying he created a hairline. You know, you could tell the shadow of his jaw is here because he used these dots of pure blue to create a shadow effect. All right, so it's not about the subject material, it's about how the paint is applied to the canvas. So pointillism used the science of optics to create colors from many small dots. The fact that they were so close together made them, when you're far away, it tricked your eyes and it made your eyes blend them together. so that instead of seeing that these are black dots, you saw the black as a shadow of the hairline instead of dots of black. Okay, so that's the science of optics. It's tricking your eyes. It's the same way computer screens work. If I were to, put a drop of water on a computer screen and have it magnify the computer screen, which please don't do that. But if I did, you would see red and blue, like squares, red, blue, and yellow squares, because those are the three colors that are making up all of the colors, right? So in much of the way that a computer screen uses those three colors to create everything that you see on the screen, pointillism artists use dots of color to create an image just out of dots. Get off that. So some good examples of pointillism. This is probably the most famous. That's actually what it says here. This painting is by far the most famous of the pointillism paintings. It was Georges Seurat's masterpiece. It's over 6 feet tall. Okay, so I am 5'4". So this picture, this painting from here to here is taller than me. So like this lady would be my height. Okay, it's 10 feet wide. So from here to here is 10 feet. That'd be like if I laid down two of me end to end. That's how long it is. Okay, and every single bit of what you see there is done with little dots of paint. It took him about 2 years to do this one painting. And today it's at the Art Institute in Chicago. If you ever get the chance to go to Chicago, it would be awesome to go see that. Definitely on my bucket list. Another of pointillism's great artists, this guy, Paul Signac, studied pointillism with Seurat, and he named this painting Sunday. This is one of his famous paintings. You can definitely see his technique. His colors are really, really super bright. And look at how sharp the lines are. He made those using dots, but he's got very straight lines that he created out of little circles. Let's see. Next one. This one, it's a little bit easier to see all those dots of color. This one's obviously more of a pointillism. Like if you were just glancing at it, you'd be like, oh yeah, I see all the little dots. This painting shows a man getting ready for work. Colors are vibrant. You can see the sunlight. That's what's unique about this one, is that he painted in such a way that you could see where the sunlight was. You can tell that this is a window, and you can see the sunlight streaking down the wall. So he purposefully chose his colors. He chose darker colors here, lighter colors here mixed in with yellows to create that illusion of light. And he did the same thing on the man himself. The sunlight, if it was coming from this direction, would strike him right here. So we should be able to see light along his back and the back of his left arm right here. Whereas on this side, it would be in shadow, right? Because the light would be hitting this side of his left arm. So he put darker colors here, lighter colors here to create that illusion. And then on the floor, he used all the darker colors to create the shadow, again, to show the illusion of light. So that's why this one is such a good example of pointillism, not just because it's done out of the little dots, but because he incorporated the light so well and shadows so well in his painting. And that's not to say that these people didn't. Clearly, the light is coming from this direction and striking his back, and so his back is lighter than his front. And here, it's outside, but you can tell that they're in the shade because it's a darker green as opposed to over here. So it's not to say that these guys didn't use light That's just why this one is such a good example, because it shows light very well, light and shadow. So there's some famous pointillism artists, all right? Some interesting facts about pointillism. Seurat, the founder, really called the style divisionism when he came up with it, but then it was changed over time. The smaller the dots, and here is what's going to help you with your project. The smaller the dots, I can't say that enough. The smaller the dots, right there, that was terrible. My stars. Can I use this? Let me see. Oh, I could have just highlighted it up there. Well, whatever. The smaller the dots, the clearer the painting or the picture. You're not going to be using paint. You're going to be using marker. But the smaller the dots that you make, the sharper the lines are going to appear. Okay? It's going to look not like a bunch of little bitty dots. It'll look really clear and sharp. It's definitely a science. It was definitely using this science of optics to create an illusion. So it was as much a science as an art. Van Gogh, the artist that did Starry, Starry Night, one of the very first paintings that we looked at when we were talking about line, it had all the swirlies in the night sky. He experimented, and that's his name, he experimented with pointillism. And you can see it a little bit in his self-portrait. If you Google search Van Gogh's 1887 self-portrait, you'll see some of that pointillism technique. So to tie this back into color, it often uses complementary colors. Okay, remember, complementary colors are the ones that are across the color wheel from each other. So red and green, or blue and orange, or purple and yellow. Because remember, I told you, when those are side by side, they make each other look brighter. So they use these complementary colors to make the colors look more vibrant instead of muted and kind of dull. Okay, so remember, complementary colors are the ones across from each other on the color wheel. On the back of this page, is that all three? That's all three. On the back of this page, you have a page called the Seurat umbrella. Before you do that, I need you to go back to Google Classroom and click on the link that says Art with Maddie and Dada. You're going to watch this one over Georges Seurat. It's 8 minutes long, and it's just a cartoon, and it's these two characters. They travel back in time to when Seurat was creating this painting, and they interview him and talk to him about it. So you're going to pause this video, and then you're going to go back to Google Classroom, watch this video. It's a YouTube video. And then come back to this video, and I'm going to discuss the how to do the Seurat umbrella. So the Seurat umbrella looks like this, and I actually don't have a copy. So when you see mine, it's going to be hand drawn. But what you're going to use is you're going to use the skinny markers. I'm actually using big markers because that's what I have at home, and I'm doing this at home. So you're going to need yellow, you're going to need green, you're going to need red, and you're going to need blue. And if I am mixing together yellow and green, I should, from a distance, I shouldn't see yellow and green. I should see a yellowish green. Remember, the smaller your dots, the better the result. If I'm mixing red and yellow from a distance, this section should look orange. If If I'm mixing blue and green from a distance, this should look bluish green. And from a distance, if I'm mixing blue and red, this section should look purple. The point of these, if you look at these pointillism paintings, if I go back to this one, you don't have white space. Every ounce of space is filled in with dots of paint. Now I realize that we don't have 2 years, okay, but we also don't have a 6 foot by 10 foot canvas either. So the smaller your dots, the better the result. You want to mix them all together, okay? On your Surratt umbrella, you want to just mix them all together. So I'm going to show you on mine what that's going to look like. All right, so you see my, don't make fun of it, okay, my Surratt umbrella. And so what I did was, you can see my yellow dots, you can see my green dots. Obviously my green dots are bolder because that's a darker color. So they are going to appear to stand out to your eyes a little bit more. I actually have more yellow dots on there than I do green dots. From a distance, like if you back up from the computer screen, you can tell that they start blending together. And then the closer you get to your screen, like put your nose up towards the screen, you can see the individual dots. But then move further back again, and that yellow and that green tend to start to blend together. Now you can see that my dots are small. This does not mean the sub wants to hear all class period, okay? Don't beat up the tips of the markers, okay? Just gently, like dab at your paper, not dab, you know what I mean, not with your arms, okay? Gently touch your paper with your markers. Don't splay open the top of the markers because you're pressing down really, really hard, okay? And don't like beat on the table. You shouldn't hear, if you hear this, you're pressing too hard with your marker, okay? Gentle touches. So then you're going to do the same thing I did here, except you're going to use red and yellow, blue and green, and blue and red. So I want you to get this practice in with this before we move on to the project. Okay, so take the rest of this class period to do your Surratt umbrella. If you need some time tomorrow, you're going to go to Miss Baxter's class tomorrow and see their animations. Some of you that were in media last semester, you know what I'm talking about. So you're going to do that on Tuesday, and then you're going to come back and you can either finish this, or you need to finish this. You need to get this practice in. And then you're going to continue on and watch the video that I'm going to upload about your pointillism project. Okay, so this umbrella is practice. Your project is going to be for a grade. So do this practice. Yes, you can listen to music. Only art can listen to music while I'm gone. But then after you're done with this practice, click on the video that says Pointillism Project. That's going to be the one that's for a grade. Okay?